Welcome to the Drop In with Pindi podcast from Warriors TMA Academy, a podcast for everyone from business inspirational leaders, combat sports enthusiasts, martial artists, and fitness fans. Together, we can build our self-discipline, confidence, and positive mindsets through great leaders. Now, here's your host, coach and former pro fighter, Pindi Matahar.
Welcome, ladies and gents. We are here with the Drop In with Pindi podcast. Today, I am delighted to have right next to me a good friend of mine from many, many years ago. We've distanced out, but we've come close together to obviously get Mr. Scott Sawyers, everyone here, onto our podcast today. The reason being, guys, I want to get Scott here today is those of you that already follow Scott and his business partner Troy on social media, you guys understand the mindset, the commitment that goes into running, I would say, the new era of online businesses, as well as obviously other ventures which they're going to touch upon. But the mindset it requires and the dedication and the commitment it requires to be a success, and in my opinion, it's a massive success. I follow these guys on social media, and these guys are constantly, endlessly working stupid hours throughout the day, which is great. It's great to see. It's an inspiration to see. But I wanted you guys to get into the mindset of Scott and understand the commitment and the drive it requires to succeed in any field you guys are in, whether it's online platforms, whether it's you're running your own business, it could be you're working 9 to 5, you want to get that next promotion, or whatever it may be. You're training for a fight, you're training for something in your field of sports, and you want to know where that drive, how to get that extra drive and that commitment and that push to achieve those goals. So Scott, first of all, thank you so much for taking time out of your hectic schedule. I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no. Thank you for obviously coming down and traveling down to Coventry, obviously, to do this podcast today. We're going to touch upon our history and everything and all of that side of it. But before we get into where you are now, what you've achieved recently, Scott, just tell us where that drive, that commitment came from. Because obviously I met you, gosh, it was over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
12 years. I don't even know.
It's funny, it just came up on my memories yesterday of like my last fight actually, and it was 10 years ago.
10 years.
Yeah.
So there's the guys that don't know, Scott actually, if you don't know, Scott started off in MMA.
Yeah.
We started off obviously competing in MMA, training at the same gym at Fearless MMA in Birmingham. Shout out to Cation Canby. And we were pretty much on the smaller shows, but we were on the same cards majority of the time. So we were always in fight camps together. So that's where I saw Scott, but that was, again, 10 years ago and about 40 kgs lighter ago as well.
So just hit the 40k, 40 kgs heavy, yeah.
But yeah, so you've gone from mixed martial arts to bodybuilding to a business entrepreneur to multiple business owner now and becoming a champion on stage and everything. But Scott, before any of all of that, like, where did that drive and like where did all that come from, if you don't mind me?
I think, it's probably the perfect place to and podcast to do, because it actually came from getting into MMA. Because prior to that, I was I wouldn't say I didn't have a drive, but I definitely didn't have any direction or focus in what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was very much working a 9 to 5, and I was always into sports and whatnot. Back in the day, I played football, Sunday league and stuff, nothing serious.
Yeah.
But from where I'm at now, I definitely am aware that I didn't have the drive and dedication and focus to, like I do now anyway, and 100%. that was just through not having, like I said, not having a direction with things. So I think it was initially I was a little bit overweight, self-conscious and whatnot.
Was this before getting into MMA?
Yeah, this was before MMA. So I initially just started going to the gym myself, just before work, cardio, just trying to lose the weight. Ended up losing weight, and I was always into MMA as a fan.
Yeah.
And then I used to research. I used to look up gyms all the time and follow their Facebooks and stuff, but never had I was a bit nervous about going. Yeah. And then it just stemmed from that. I wanted to get fit, get into shape. I did that by myself. Went to an MMA gym, started doing jiu-jitsu for a bit, and then it all sort of progressed from there, really.
Awesome. And you had a lot of success, in my opinion, in MMA.
Yeah,
I remember getting whacked by you a few times on those Saturday morning sparring sessions.
Yeah,
they weren't nice.
The Saturday mornings,
Yeah. The Saturday morning sessions were brutal.
Yeah.
Traveling down to Birmingham just to get punched by him, it was great. But you had a lot of success in MMA because it wasn't as if you weren't, no disrespect, like, and no disrespect to the other fighters out there, but it wasn't as if you were training for an MMA fight, having an MMA fight, getting dominated, and then you call it quits. You're actually succeeding. So what made you come away from that? Because in my opinion, as a teammate at the time, as a fan of MMA and as a fan of the sport, I was like, yo, you're gonna go play.
Yeah,
that was around that era was the time we were all getting calls to go on to like shows like BAM.
It was weird. I think you did that. Was it the Amma? Then you headlined that show against the Welsh guy. I can't remember, but I don't know if it was the same card I was on. But I always remember that one, and it was the headline of that. But I always think back to it now. It was like like you said, there wasn't a reason to stop. Everything was moving in the right direction. To be honest, I just lost the passion for it.
Fair enough.
And you know yourself, when it comes to fighting of all sports, if you're not in it 100%, you can't be in. It's funny, I was speaking to the lads the other day about it, and I remember the specific time I was sparring, Saturday morning sparring session, and I wasn't in it. I got hit with a couple of shots, and I was just, you just know in yourself, you know what I mean? And I got to that point, and I think fighting's one of the things you can't try and stay in. You
can't have that half-hearted.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt that within myself. So that's how I started pulling away from it. But during the time of, like, I'll be honest, really, when it came to, I had a couple of fights, and then I ended up going abroad. I ended up working in Napa for a summer, doing all the partying and all that. Came back, and I struggled to get, I got a fight lined up, struggled to get back into just the mindset. Physically, I was training, I was getting there, but as I said, I just knew something wasn't there from before. And I was sort of training, bodybuilding style training, in between fight camps and whatnot, just to stay on top of that side of things. And I ended up just having a bit more interest in that side of things. So combination of having a bit more interest in that, losing that sort of fire when it came to fighting, other things outside of it, like I said, like partying and going away. And,
that's part of
so in that, being honest, it was a combination of all those. And I was just honest with myself. I just knew I wasn't on it. I was turning up to Saturday sessions, and I was dreading going to it. I was turning up because I was committed to it, but I wasn't in it 100%.
Wasn't fully in it.
So that's why I ended up coming away. Like, I still love MMA. I've always followed it right up to now. Still follow all the lads, you guys know, follow what everyone's doing. But I just lost that spark for actual fighting.
Each of them. But in terms of you saying you lost that spark in MMA, you found a spark in my opinion, in bodybuilding. Because then, obviously, a few years later, we were focusing on fighting. You were focusing on a different fight, which was you were looking to perform on stage and bulk up. So that's where me and you almost lost contact. But we stay in contact through social media, and blessed to be in a life where we do have social media, where we can reconnect, which is important too. But I saw your progress and supported, like, watching you and supporting you throughout the whole of your career and seeing, man, things you're achieving. So you might have lost the drive and the spark in MMA, but you found it in another sport.
I definitely didn't lose it as a whole, just in that
in that one specific. Absolutely. And now look where you are right now. And so in terms of obviously coming out of MMA, you went into bodybuilding. You obviously started putting the weight on in a good way, obviously. Not in a bad way, guys. When you listen to that, I'm on back. You're putting the mass on. In what period of time did you because obviously you are 30-40 kilos heavier than it was when you
so I was fighting at 70 kilos. I'm about 100. I'm 100.
That's what your leg is now.
So it's good. That's been obviously over the space of 10 years.
Of course.
But I don't know. I'd say it was probably from finishing competing in MMA to do my first bodybuilding show was 3 years. My first show was 2015. It was about 3 years. Cool. And even that in itself, I didn't leave MMA to go and compete in bodybuilding. I was just doing that style of training, and then I ended up meeting up with the lads that I train with now and work with now, and they were competing. And then I got into shape for a holiday, and then I came back off that holiday. It was in the best physical shape I'd been in terms of bodybuilding anyway. And there was a show about 11, 12 weeks after that. So we all just did it together. So sort of fell into that, to be honest.
And in terms of mindset, preparing for a bodybuilding competition, like obviously I've never been there, but you can relate when I know it's different, but when you're preparing for a fight, you're driven because you're thinking of your opponent. He's training, so you've got to train and all that. But when you're when you're going into a fight, like I'll be straight. You get those nerves, you get those butterflies. Is it the same feeling as such going on stage and performing in front of a crowd like that, or
it's not? It's a bit different. Like I don't think I always tell this story about MMA. My first fight, or my first semi-pro fight was Amma, and I remember doing the walkout and there was this, like a couple of seconds that was, you probably know, a mad just emotion out. I felt like I was going to cry for a second.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
And I always remember I was walking past a few of my mates were there and it was hit my hand and that. But for a couple of seconds, mate, it probably was only a couple of seconds because by the time I was getting Vaseline on and getting my gloves checked and whatnot, I was fine and switched on. But that level, I've never experienced that level of like nervousness or emotion, not for a show. I think for a bodybuilding show, it's more like the build up to it. You're nervous about doing well. And I think for myself, because before I actually competed, I had a big following and platform. So you've got 100%. Sort of the nerves from, other people's expectations and not wanting to, flop in front of other people and whatnot. Sure. But when it comes to actually being on stage and whatnot, it's I didn't experience that nervousness.
From an outside point of view, seeing the pictures that you've posted on your Instagram and online, it looks like you're just enjoying it because you've got do you know what I mean? It looks like you're in the element, your smile on your face, your poses. Yeah. Because that alone itself, I know, like, I don't know too much about bodybuilding, but you have to train. Not only are you training to obviously gain weight to get yourself in shape, but you're having to train specifically for your poses as well.
The posing is one thing. Especially, I said from the outside looking in, the posing just it looks like you're just posing.
Yeah,
but
It's
actually it's a much hard. It's a much harder process. So when we're going through a contest prep for I don't know maybe 12, 16 weeks. The posing is just as much part of the training and everything else. So we'll pose every day, 30 minutes, 40 minutes after sessions. And it's a workout in itself, but we do that. Okay. So when you get to stage, you'll see at bodybuilding shows, people who don't do that, preparation, they'll be on stage and they'll be struggling because you don't know how long you're going to work for on stage. You could be on and off in a couple of minutes, but the judges, if it's close as well, they may keep you on stage for however long and change where you are on the stage, and you do however many rounds of posing. So if you haven't been practicing for that and building up your conditioning and whatnot for that, you're going to struggle. So
see it because I remember watching the old school documentary Arnold, Pumping Iron and stuff. Those, like, obviously I know you're in the same boat because I remember again following you on Insta and seeing your stories and the amount of work you've put into just the actual separate sessions, which are the poses. And these guys, they were like practicing, like, not saying you did that, but these guys were like getting like ballerina poses and all sorts.
There's a lot into it.
There's a lot that goes into it, and I think people neglect the time, the energy, the commitment that goes. Well, commitment we know because how much you have to create the shape, but the time and energy and the other arts, in my opinion, that go into bodybuilding. And then it's tough, man. And linked with that, in 2017/18, you won the British title in bodybuilding, and in 2019. You came second place.
Yeah, just missed out on it.
Just missed out.
And the funny thing is that was really close. Like, and it wasn't down to. It was really close in terms of physique. But the guy that beat me was an unreal poser. Did the splits on stage and all sorts of stuff.
Way.
So I put it down to the fact he did the splits.
Flexibility.
It's
flexibility.
But as you mentioned, the posing, like, it makes a massive difference. And even down to physique wise, I probably had maybe about 10 to 15 kilos on him weight wise. Bodybuilding's not just about weight, but obviously there's certain advantages into being bigger and whatnot. But when you've got a package and you present it really well and it all comes together, you can beat bigger guys and whatnot. So that's exactly what you're saying about the posing. It really comes into play.
It's another art in itself. I find it's a beauty in itself, man. It's awesome.
But 2018 won the British title. That was with UK BFF. They don't run anymore. It's a different federation. That used to be the federation you had to go through to get your pro card. Won the British title that year. And then 2019 was with PCA. They're one of you've got PCA and Tubro, so they're probably the biggest federations in the UK.
Awesome.
I just missed out and I got second. So it's still a good.
That's still an achievement. 100%.
We're going back for that this year.
So you're gonna get
hopefully
absolutely.
That's the plan anyway.
Scott, in terms of bodybuilding, in terms of obviously the support in bodybuilding, and what I mean by that is, again, I'm talking about back in the day doing MMA. MMA is a lot different now, and I don't want to keep relating back to MMA, but MMA is
it's good. I like that. I like the comparison because, like I said, MMA gave me the foundation for it now.
Exactly.
So, like I said, the commitment and the competitive side of it is from that.
It's 100%. But like what I mean, and just saying, obviously, what the generation have now got who are doing MMA, they've got so many opportunities and support packages, i.e. sponsors. And like, whatever gym they go to, they're not saying that we did get looked after, but these guys are getting looked after on another level to the extent that there's a lot more opportunities on bigger shows, better shows, and that the path to UFC is a lot more closer than it was for us back then. But in terms of bodybuilding, is there massive support in bodybuilding as well for you, for say the people that are looking to get into bodybuilding now, or the ones that are currently in it? Is there that support package there? Like, are you sponsors? Are you getting, like, how does it work? Are you getting paid?
Yeah, it's pretty non-existent, to be honest.
No.
Yeah, like that with bodybuilding, you have to want to be a bodybuilder above and beyond, above every. I know it's the same with anything, but
Of course,
like I said, you know, if you're being supported and you've got certain opportunities and whatnot, it makes that path a little bit easier, maybe even more enjoyable. But with bodybuilding, you're very much on your own. So there's pro bodybuilders that you would look at and think should be at the top of their game. Do you know what I mean? But probably don't earn any money. I think back in the day, it used to be like that. You would do well, get up to a certain level, you get a sponsorship, and then that covers you. Then you're getting paid, your expenses, you're getting flown here, you're doing this magazine shoot and whatnot. Now it's not based off that at all. It's based off social media pretty much. It's based off your following and what you can offer a company, and then that's how you sort of source sponsorships. And then even at that point, sponsorships are 9 times out of 10 supplement sponsorships where you're getting the products and whatnot. To actually earn an income from bodybuilding, like it's really hard. You have to have a stupidly big following or be right at the top. At the top. So luckily I'm in a position where we built our following throughout my whole fitness journey. I've been building the following up. So when it comes to the position where I'm in now, sponsors, we're at a certain level where I don't have to accept anything less than a paid sponsorship and stuff like that. But prior to that, it would be, you know, we had sponsors where we would get a tub of protein here and there, and it does help build your following and whatnot. But no,
it's not in that.
Yeah, not in the sense of trying to break out in bodybuilding and get somewhere. It's definitely off your own back, really. And you've got to really make the opportunities for yourself. So it is more about your social media following than anything, and building your profile up.
You like you said, you've been building that for a long time. You've got a massive following already, and that's with everything you're doing. Obviously.
Yeah.
But before you got into what you're doing now, you had to build that. So
kids out there or the next generation that are looking to get into bodybuilding, just advise them to stick at it.
The bodybuilding side of thing, obviously the training side and the competing side, it is what it is. You've got to work hard, you've got to pay your dues there. But definitely, I think we've got to be much more aware of yourself as a brand now and building your profile and giving companies a reason to sponsor you. It's not good. It's not enough now just to look amazing. It's just not. So unfortunately, you've got to bring more to the table.
That's the power of social media.
Exactly, yeah.
Power of social
so you've got to think, but what can I bring to the table? Whether that just be valuable information, whether you're helping people, different avenues other than just looking a certain part. Now it's gone way past that.
Of course, I understand, because that now brings me on to the next step, which is where you're at. You've done a lot of things, but where you're at right now, in the sense of, in my opinion, with yourself and Troy and the guys you've got around you, you guys, in my opinion, are probably one of the best online PTs that going. Obviously, I know you went into personal training as well. In terms of what you're doing now, in terms of, like, I've been watching your Friday check-ins just because I find it really interesting to see the amount of people that you've got and the amount of people you're helping out there change their lives for the better. And it's not just physically, because you know as well as anyone, when you're changing yourself physically, mentally, psychologically, you're feeling good, you're feeling invincible, ain't you, right? So it's one of them. And I've seen you do that week in, week out, and you're doing these 6 weeks challenges and you're doing all this, and it's so inspiring to see. And you can see it in the, like, when I'm scrolling past, I'm looking at the images of the people that are doing it. You can see the joy in their faces. As sad as that sounds.
No, it's good. I'm glad you noticed that, because it's such a massive part of it. And
100%. And unfortunately, like, I always touch upon this, but in 2020, everyone suffered a real difficult time in their lives, in the sense of what happened with COVID-19. So a lot of people's mental health, a lot of people's confidence lacked. But whilst there was a lot of people out there not working and staying at home and doing this, you were the opposite. You were working day in, day out, blasting it out, and you were actually helping. You were reaching out to these people, and you were making such a positive effort. And this is where I was saying, where I started the podcast off with, when I was saying, guys, listen at home. When it comes to mindset and commitment and drive, you got to listen to this guy's mindset. Does that make sense? Because it's so inspiring to see. If you don't already follow him on social media, follow Scott on social media, because this guy, in my opinion, works like 24 hours. It's like there's not enough hours in the day going, and it's so inspiring to see. For me personally, sometimes you might be having a low day and I log on to Insta and I see you, I was like, fuck man, this guy's already up there, about fucking 50 emails. Fuck's sake, I've got to get onto it now. Do you get what I mean? So it's inspiring to see. But
before we touch upon that, where did this online platform come from? Like, what made you think, forget doing PTs in the gym now, I want to go into, because this is before COVID, right?
Yeah,
this is before,
for a while.
because I know a lot of online platforms have started during COVID.
Yeah,
you guys started.
I think we
way
started
before that.
online coaching in 2016.
So way before that. So where did that come about? I know it's like you're thinking light years ahead of time now.
Yeah,
but
I think with myself and Troy, we're very much we work so well because we're on the same sort of wavelength. So yeah, just in the sense, even just throwing ideas out, and if there's an idea that there's a possibility of working, we'll just do it. You know, I think a lot of people procrastinate and sort of, you know, are scared to take a step forward or try things, which I completely understand.
100%.
But we're very much, even now, Troy ring me like, look, let's do this. I'm like, cool, let's do it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So it was just saw the opportunity. Obviously, we were both personal training, and we've both gone from the position of quitting our 9-to-5s, or personal training by ourselves, and sort of building our business. So we've always been very aware of how can we build our business, how can we grow, and you know, we both started off as personal trainers and loved that. But there's only, as we spoke about before, there's only a certain, you can only do a certain amount of work. You can only, you know, build your business to a certain amount. You can only make a certain amount of money. It's not obviously always about money, but when you've got to take that into consideration. So
100%.
That combined with the fact that we had a good Instagram following and social media following, and we'd done a couple workshops in the gym where we got really good turnouts. So we knew we had a pull from the internet to get people, whether that be training or just into doing what we're doing. And then that's when we started. We did our first transformation challenge, 2016. There was only about, I think, 28 people, 30 people on it. Most of them were like people we knew as well. But we just saw the opportunity there, and that went really well, and we just stayed consistent with it, and it's just grown over time. And then, like you said, online coaching is growing massively now. Everyone's doing it, and that's great because you know, it's more people that can be helped. Everyone can help, but because we've been doing it for so long, and we've got results for so long.
Absolutely.
And like I said, the social media side plays a big part to it as well, because I like to think we're very genuine people, and it comes across. And when it comes to going to someone for a service or for help, especially something like your health, like you said, mental, physical health, you want to be able to relate to that person and feel that you can go to them. And I feel like we've sort of got that across with our social media as well. So as we did more challenges, that just grew, and our online clients grew even more. And then, that's where we're at now.
That's where you're at now. And it's incredible to see, because we're going to touch upon this as well. Like, just before we joined on the podcast, shall I say? Like, now I see you guys you do your Friday check-ins. You do Sundays are your
so we have 3 main check-in days. We have Thursday, so we have monthly and competitive clients that we do on Thursday, and then our challenge clients are on a Friday, Saturday. Sunday we have a dedicated day off. Perfect. as much as we can, because otherwise, and then the rest of the week is
it makes sense. But like, I seen images of, I think you're in your office with Troy, and there you start off at like 7 stupid o'clock in the morning, and by not now so much, but before, you were still there at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, still doing it. And it's like, man, you've got to fit. Not only are you doing all of that, which is great, and it's a great work ethic to see, but on top of that, you've got to fit your own training in, as well as a bit of family life as well. Do you get what I mean? How are you managing your time in that?
We're doing much better now. To be fair, we do much better. Before, it used to be, Troy would be at his house, I'll be at mine, and we just work throughout the day, make sure we just FaceTime, we stay in touch, and just stay on top of everything. But we weren't really efficient with our time. We'd spend all night and all day and work till 2-3 in the morning, but we noticed we weren't efficient. After 10 hours, your concentration goes and you're just not there. So same again, it's just the learning process over the last few challenges last year or so. We've just dedicated our time a little bit better. We've got our office set up, so we're working together. We work better when we're going back and forth with each other. And then, we'll do a full day on a Friday, but we'll make sure we finish at a certain time. We'll make sure we set our times to go and eat and have a 5-minute break, a 10-minute break, or whatever it was before we just try and get everything done. So just organizing things better, really. Prioritizing time to actually go and have a rest, because then, when we come back Saturday morning, we've still got work to do, but we switched on. We're fresh, we're more efficient, and we work better that way. So
makes perfect sense, because, again, with me running like the gym, with the ultra events business and everything, it's important that time management is key, and staying consistent, which you guys are always consistent with, but time management is key to be fresh, to basically be on it, if that makes sense.
Like there's you'll know yourself, there's always something that you can be doing. Do you know what I mean? Whether even when you have time off at home, tonight when you get home, there's always something that you could be doing. So if you don't prioritize your time to actually just not do stuff and let yourself refresh and let your mind rest and whatnot, then you're going to just eventually run yourself into ground, or your quality of work's going to drop.
You burn out, and you're not really focused on it. So I completely get it. And you've got a great partner in Roxy that we see on social media as well, on your stories as well, and she's on that same path as well. And everyone that I'm honored to have here on my podcast, everyone says a similar thing, and it's about who you surround yourself with.
100%,
and I think that's so important for everyone listening out there as well, because we're in a period in our lives right now, and this is everyone, where we can get so distracted with social media, with bad TV, with bad media out there. And when I say bad media, everyone can back me up by how the last year's gone. We understand that there's a serious pandemic happening, but the way the media portrayed it was like literally exaggerated, times that by 10. And it's so many. We've all got the same 24 hours in the day, and it's about how we utilize it, how we use it wisely. But if you're going to spend, say, 5 hours of that time binge watching Netflix, do you know what I mean? Series, you're never gonna want to succeed. Obviously, yes, like we were talking about, and we touched upon it, when you had that drive with MMA, you transferred it into bodybuilding, etc. And that's always stayed with you, no matter what you've done. But it's important that if you are ambitious, you have got that drive to do it, you've got to utilize your time correctly and the people around you correctly as well. And I, like, again, from an outsider looking at your socials, and by the way, please don't think I'm stalking Scott. It's just you're so busy. And
you've got to do that before the podcast. You got to make sure you're
But when I was looking at your socials as well, 100%, and it's like you're always surrounding yourself with the same people. That doesn't mean don't go and make new friends, but it's always, you got to surround yourself with people that are in the same mindset as you. And you're just as busy. Your business partner Troy is just as busy, and then you got your partner there that's running multiple businesses itself as well. And it's great to see you guys growing together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's definitely really... I've been really lucky to be with the group of people I have. Like, Troy's here now, and he's just with me. We've just come from work. We've got stuff to do after.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? I just got off the phone with my missus, who's sorting some stuff out with the dogs. So it's I have been very lucky, and I make sure I get this across to people, because I understand when you haven't got a support network, and when you haven't got training partners or whatever it may be, the things that I may be achieving, or you may see other people achieving, are a lot harder. You know, it's easy to say, well, just surround yourself with good people and so on and so forth. But some people are just on their own, and it is hard. But so I always make a point of saying, you know, through bodybuilding, through MMA, through business, my circle of friends, we're all super supportive. We're all on the same wavelength. If I'm pursuing something, I've got 100% support from them. Do you know what I mean? So I've been very, very lucky in that sense, and it has made a massive difference. Like, even if I get to a point where, as motivated and as driven as I am, sometimes I lose motivation. Sometimes I may be a bit complacent or whatever. But Troy's gonna
kick you up the backside.
My missus is gonna get onto me. Do you know what I mean? 100%. So it's definitely, I think
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. But I was saying this as well. Luck has a fraction of to do with it, and you are, in the sense you said, you're lucky to be surrounded by great people. But I also believe, and I say this like with passion, like, you as Scott had a vision in your head of what you wanted to be and achieve in your life, right? So you're sending those signals out to, like, the universe, and you're attracting it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
You by saying and writing your goals down, because I'm sure, like, you and everyone, we all have goals, and we write it down, and we want to obviously achieve it. But yes, luck has to do with it. But the fact that you've said it, you wanted to do this, these are your goals to do it. And I wouldn't say naturally things just come, but you attract the positives.
Without knowing, you put yourself into positions and around.
Absolutely. Because we say, and this comes to the state of mind you're at, your mind frame. Because I was having this conversation the other day with a friend of mine, and I know this sounds silly, but it comes down to, like, little things. If, for example, you wake up in the morning, it's pissing down in rain, naturally, subconsciously, you do feel a bit low, and you're like, oh fuck, but you then start attracting negative things in that day, and all of a sudden, I know it sounds silly, but you could be running 5 minutes late, and then all of a sudden you're attracting red lights, and you're getting later and later. But it's important, and it all comes down to, I believe, it's gratitude. Gratitude is so important. Like,
little things like just waking up. We were chatting the other day and saying like waking up in the morning rather than going on your phone and seeing again Sky News and negative media and attracting negative media. You're focusing on the positive. So if your version of a positive could be you're on your Insta as an example and you've seen a client lose 3 kg and that's made you feel, oh, that is fucking awesome, and that's made you feel thankful that yes you're in a position to do that. Or it could be as little as things, I've woke up and I'm like, wow, thank you for giving me another day. Does that make sense? Like definitely. It's just having that gratitude. But I honestly believe like from your state of mind, your mindset that you've attracted on a positive wavelength with people around you, and you guys are just feeding off each other.
Yeah, it literally is that. It's funny you should say it because we were literally speaking about it, the other day. I mean, the same thing, the good thing about us, especially the lads we work with and that we all have these conversations on a daily, but I think that's another big thing that people don't do, just like having the conversations about how we think and why we think it and how we respond to things and how we perceive things. We really talk about that. And literally, as you were saying, as you were saying about, what taking the positives out of things. And sometimes I feel like it's like, when someone says, oh, just think positive, be positive, it sounds like you don't want to take that on board because it does require more than that. But equally, we can choose how we respond to things. If we see a certain situation with someone, there is always a different perspective to it. There's always a positive and a negative to it. Yes. Naturally, because of the last year we've had and everything that's going on, we see the negative in everything. There's not been much positive. But if I do it sometimes on my Instagram. I'll scroll through my Instagram and I'll see something and it may be someone's lost weight or someone that's posted a gym picture or whatever. And I'll think, oh, that's sick. And I carry on scrolling and I think, oh, I haven't liked that, but I'd liked it in my head. So I'll go back and I make sure I like it just because that like is being positive to someone else. And do you know what I mean? And I know it's Instagram and likes and it doesn't mean much in that sense, but I think the way we perceive situations, and if we just check ourselves and try and look at the positive out of it, or look at, all right, that happened, but it's put me in a position to do this, and so on and so forth. It like you said, it puts you on a better track and attracts better people, better situations.
Honestly, I think I admire that because a lot of people, talking of Instagram and just general social media, getting a like from anyone, but getting a like is such a massive thing nowadays. I know it sounds silly, and some listeners thinking, "Fucking, that sounds sad," but trust me, it is for some people that you can make or break a day of someone, isn't it? You 100%. Can make someone's day, or you can break their day. Same with Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media platform you're on. The fact that someone at your shall I say status and or platform on social media, and you are very recognized, you are very well known. But getting a like from you, if someone's done something really well from on a training point of view or whatever it may be, is such a big thing. And I think more importantly, this doesn't go to just Scott or anyone. This is going to everyone. So if you're listening at home and if you're watching online or whatever it may be, guys, just be more kind to people. Does that make sense? Be more positive towards people. So if there is something that you think, oh wow, that person deserves I know it sounds silly, just a little click of a button and a like. Do it, because you can make someone's day. And we're in a position right now where we have got the power of social media, so we can help people feel a bit more positive about themselves, a bit more happy about themselves, because unfortunately there are a lot of people right now suffering with mental health, a lot of people out there unfortunately depressed and everything like that. But we're here, and the reason for these podcasts is to boost people up, to give them that drive, to give them that positivity, and to make them feel inspired. So
it doesn't take much, we've got hundreds of clients, and yes, we know what we're doing in terms of the training and getting people into shape and whatnot. But what we've noticed now is a lot of our time is spent just helping people work on their mindset and just be more positive and react to situations different. So we may have clients that haven't done too well this week, and they're checking with us, and as I just said, they're focused on all the negatives. And what I'll do is I'll break it down and say, right, we haven't progressed there, but let's take a step back and look at everything. And this is better than last week. 5 weeks ago, you wrote you wanted this to happen, and you're already at this point. Do you know what I mean? Just sometimes open up the situation and focusing on the positives and trying to build something like that way. But as you said, we all know Instagram is what it is. But equally, I like a message saying, well done, you look sick, whatever it is, you're doing great. that, like I said, being kind to someone doesn't cost you nothing, but it does make a massive difference.
100%, and it doesn't take a lot of it either.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like, and I don't want to relate to the old school days. It's not like the old school days where you had to physically go to someone's house, put your arm around them, give them a little hug. It's not like that. We're in a digital era right now.
Exactly.
So a comment, a like, guys.
And I get the sort of, you know, because that's the same again. We always speak about it, but it's Instagram, so it's not real life, and you get that sort of response to it. And I completely understand. You have to have that balance, and it's hard not being swallowed up by social media, but we are in that digital era. Like you said, it is what it is now. We are, like, if it wasn't for Instagram, we wouldn't still be in touch, and you wouldn't know what certain people are doing. So unfortunately, there's pros and cons to it, but that's the era we're in. So we've got to use it for good.
I absolutely love, like you said, there are pros and cons, but for me, I think it's such a positive, because we may not be able to stay in touch, but like after how many years we've managed to reconnect, and that's just me and you. Imagine how many other examples there are around the world. You know what I mean? And for me, like, I've got relatives out there that live abroad. I've got friends that are abroad, and I get to stay in touch just purely through social media. So I think it's a massive, massive platform, and I think it's great that, obviously, if you can use it in the right way, use it. I like, for me, we were having this discussion on another podcast, but I was talking about the negatives of social media, in the sense of what it's doing to a lot of the footballers that we're seeing with the Black Lives Matter. And I think I absolutely hate the trolls on that side of things.
It's bad.
But on a flip side of that, I think in a sounds stupid, in a positive way of looking at it, just don't give them the energy. Don't give them the time and energy about that. So if anyone's listening to this thinking that, we've just discussed the positives of it, 100%, but the other positives could be is, if you are those people that are getting some negative comments, just delete it. Block them, ignore them. Don't give people the time, 100%. Day, energy, because your energy is far more powerful than the guy sitting in his mum and dad's basement.
And that's what it comes down to. We still get messages, we'll get random accounts and this and that, but at the end of the day, I think a person that's in that position where you've made a fake account to give abuse to someone else, like, I feel more sorry for you than anything. Like, I feel more sorry that you're in that position. So if you are someone that's receiving that kind of stuff, then
it's funny. Because I can't remember how long ago it was. I'm pretty sure this is lockdown 1 or 2, or in between lockdown 1 and 2. I can't remember, but I remember again looking at one of your stories, and someone gave not a lot, but someone was negatively criticizing some of your clients. Fair play to you. You stood up, you put on your story, guys. If you got a problem, you come to me. You know what I mean? Not these guys but are you having to deal with? Are you finding you're having to deal with that quite often, or
not so much now? I think we did initially, and I think that's just same again. You know, I'm just very aware of everything. I feel like I'm so, you know, when it comes to a fitness Instagram, before Instagram was videos and stories and whatnot. I'm completely understand. You may see me, tops off is there in you. You have a perception of someone, so you're going to get a sort of, not necessarily negative, but I can see why people may think you this type of way. Right. So I completely understand that side of things. But I think more as, you know, obviously we do YouTube, we do our videos. I'm very vocal on my Instagram as much as I can. I don't really get much negativity at all. So I'm really grateful. That's nice, because I know how nasty social media can be. Do you know what I mean? So obviously behind closed doors, you don't know, but we don't get much anymore. I'd message here and there, but as I said, you know, anyone out there that does receive stuff, it's a representation of the person sending it. It's no matter what they're saying. You know, it's a no value to you. It's more representation of where they're at in their life, and that's not a good place if that's what you're doing.
Perfect, man. That's a great way of seeing it, man. And well done on that, man, because a lot of people can take it to heart.
And it's understandable. We're only human. We're only human. You're gonna feel a certain way if someone's, you know, being nasty to you. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are or what, you're gonna feel a certain way. But you know, like I said, if you break it down in that situation, like I always break it down, like literally to the physical side of it. Someone's made an account, they've had to put an email address in, they've probably made a fake email address to do that, to make account, to go and follow you, to watch what you're doing, and then to criticize you. That's not a happy person. Nah, do you know what I mean? It's not even worth putting.
You know what? I've never thought it like that. I never thought it like.
Because that's what you have to do.
That's what you have to do. That's crazy.
So it's a lot of work to give someone abuse. So someone that's doing that, you should just feel sorry for them.
You've got to think of their state of mind, man.
That's what I mean.
That is messed up.
That's what I genuinely feel more sorry for that person than anything. So now even if I do get messages where I don't reply to them, but before I might have gone back and forth.
You used to get in a heat.
But
no. Honestly, thank you, man. That's fucking taught me. Do you know what I mean? It's like never thought of it. Thought of it in that long. If you think of it in that longevity of it, that's right.
It's a lot to do to just be negative to someone else. So yeah, it's there.
Let's carry on sitting in your mum and dad's basement, guys. Exactly. That's it. It's fucking crazy. It's great to see everything that like you're achieving now, and it's so good to see. But that's not the only thing you're doing, right? You've got many different ventures that you're going on now. You started your own kennels as well, hasn't it? That's right. But I love your dogs. I see them obviously.
Yeah, they're good little characters, man.
Fucking awesome, hilarious, man. But I know you got the love for it. But where did it come to where it's like, man, I want to do this now. I want to do this.
Yeah. You know, I've always had dogs, always loved dogs, and same again. It was literally just as you know, mentioned before about me and Troy just bouncing ideas off each other.
Yeah.
I was training Sean. Obviously, and then he had a litter of bulldogs, and I wanted to invest some money into something, and I wanted to get another dog at the time. Yeah. So just through training and talking, that opportunity came around. So I got on the phone to Troy, and I was like, look, this dog, this much, this is what we're going to do. Do you want to give it a go? He's like, yeah. And the next day we got her. So that was like just over 2 years ago. And then since then, you know, we've had a couple litters. We've got about 10, 12 dogs between ourselves and co-owns. Wow. And we got, you know, about 4 or 5 litters up and coming this year. So it just started from the love of dogs, and then just the opportunity was there. So we thought, why not give it a go? And it's just sort of carrying on building from there. But same again, because of our sort of history on social media and our following, it made it not easier, but it gave us a good platform to build our kennels page up. So at the point of us doing our breedings now, it's like people, obviously we produce top quality dogs. That's our sort of ethos with the kennels is high quality dogs, but from loving homes. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like an actual breeding program. Like all our dogs live with us or live with a family member, and they're loved. Which is the main thing. Yeah, but they're high end as well. So we want to make sure that's our sort of angle with it. But because everyone's following, like everyone knows Luna and knows Banksy, they're all got their own personalities. It's like, I want a Banksy puppy, I want a Luna puppy. So for the business side of things, it's worked really well as well.
Oh, wicked.
But that's something we both, me and Troy, and my missus, like I said, she's a big part of that, and Troy's missus Chelsea as well. Something we're all just very passionate about. I think with all of it, that's, you know, with everything we spoke about, we're passionate about it all.
That's where it comes.
And that's where when you talk about the drive and whatnot, that's where it comes from. Like, we love to do it. Sometimes it's a lot of hard work and time consuming, but like I said, I know it's cheesy, but when you love what you do, it's 100%. Yeah, it's easy.
I 100% agree with that, and I've seen so many motivational quotes on social media about that, and it's true. I know there's something about a Sunday night, and on a Sunday night, like for me personally, on a Sunday night, I write down my weekly goals, what I want to achieve. It could be little things. It could be like, I want to read 10 more minutes on Monday. Do you know what I mean? It could be little things, but I want to always try and tick it off. But I remember seeing this and kind of made me crack up. But I said, it's not Monday you hate, because you know, everyone's not us lot, because we love what we do.
Yeah.
The average person that works 9 to 5 stuck in an office or whatever it may be, and they're not really enjoying their work. And it comes to a Sunday night and everyone's dead depressed because they don't want it to be Monday morning and boom, and back to reality, shall I say. But this quote said something along the lines of, it's not Monday morning you hate, it's your job that you hate. So why do you want to live X amount of years doing something you hate so much? Get out there and do something that you're going to find, like yourself and Troy, that you find you absolutely love, you've got the passion to do, and you want to go and absolutely.
And you know what? It's same again. I always try and look at every side of the situation. It's easy for us to say that, or it may to someone else. It seems like it's easy for to say that. So I get why I can say to someone, just find something you love to do and do it. And it can half be a bit patronizing, but in the same sense, you know, I worked 9 years in a 9 to 5, not knowing what I wanted to do, day in, day out, living that exactly what you said. Same with Troy. And then, you know, I found something that I enjoyed. I quit my job, which I wasn't stable to do, but I pursued it. So, you know, it is hard.
And you getting to that decision to do, because I've been there, and I remember getting what we thought was a secure income from a 9 to 5, shall I say. And you are thinking, well, hang on, I can try and manage it outside of working hours and all of this.
Yeah.
But like, for the listeners out there, Scott, like, if you could explain to someone, like, I know it wasn't as easy as saying, I'm just going to give up a 9 to 5 and then pursue this, but there are a lot of pros and cons. You do have to write down, and you do have to do this. But what was your mindset at that time when you had to do it? I know you had to drive to do it.
Yeah.
Someone out there listening that wants to make this decision, but hasn't got that oomph to do it.
Yeah.
What can you advise?
The first thing I'll say is that as confident as I am and as well as I may appear to be doing, I was scared completely. And it took me ages to actually take the leap. And like I said, I worked 9 years in the NHS admin. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Do you know what I mean? But it wasn't fulfilling me, like you said, but I didn't know what I wanted to do either, and that's why I like talking about it, because I feel like a lot of people are in that situation, and especially now, it's almost like if you're not opening a business or being an entrepreneur or doing something amazing, that you're not doing anything. That's not the case at all, you know. But I had no idea what I wanted to do, and even when I was doing MMA, when I was doing the bodybuilding, it was still just as a hobby. Right. But yeah, I did that for 9 years, and then I worked at Jaguar Land Rover in the factory. And to be honest, my mindset then, and same again, I always like talking about it because I've been on both sides of it. Yeah. My mindset then was, all right, I've got a secure job. I'm going to get my full-time contract next year. I'll be able to get a mortgage, and then that's it. I'm screwed.
That is what we've got from a very
exactly.
Young age,
and it's mad thinking now, because I was content at that was my plan. But then as I was doing all this on the side as a hobby, you know, it built to the point where I was training people, and I was working like 3 shifts at Jaguar, mornings, nights, and that. And then I was training clients outside of that. But I didn't used to tell my clients I worked at Jaguar, so I couldn't be consistent with time. So I was juggling all that. But anyway, I did that for months. So it wasn't like a quick process. I did that for ages. Yeah. Got to the point where I was earning an income outside of my 9 to 5 that would be enough just to keep me above water, sort of thing. And then that was the point where I sort of thought, all right, I can give it a go. And I was just unhappy. I was really miserable in my job, and it was noticed by other people, by family members and whatnot. And I say that was probably the first point where I became very aware of how I feel about things, and my lack of drive for certain opportunities and whatnot. But yeah, and then I just decided, you know I can live off the money I'm making doing this. Yeah. Then it's a case of, right, you got to think I'm losing 60% of my time in this 9 to 5, but I'm making enough money off that 40% to live. So if I can, with that 60% of that time I have by quitting that job, I should be able to do something with that. But yeah, even from then, when I decided to do it, it took me another 6 months to actually do it. I ripped my notice out. Oh, seriously? Yeah. And then I was just scared. I was scared to have my notice in. It took me about 5 months, and then eventually did that, and then started pursuing the training sort of thing and going from there. But it was a long process, and it is scary. Any risk is scary, but of course, I think you're only here for a short amount of time. You got one life to live, and as you said, if you are unhappy, and it's only if you're unhappy, if you work your 9 to 5 and you work whatever job you're in and you're happy, and that's amazing. It's not about what you do or how you're doing it. But if you're not, then why would you not at least give yourself the opportunity to find something better for yourself? And that doesn't mean better in the sense of money or the business. It just means what's going to make you content, what's going to give you peace of mind and get you up on a Monday morning enjoying the day. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So no, I think you've hit it right on the head there. That's perfect saying, because unfortunately there are a lot of people stuck in their way, and they don't want to get out. That's a scary thing, isn't it? They don't.
But like I said, we taught that way, isn't it? We taught, and that's why it's matter. Like I genuinely I've got my contract in 2 months. Yeah. I'll eventually be able to get a nice 3-bed house, and that will be me.
That's scary. Yeah. Scary, but that, like you said, that's what we were taught. Even when I was doing MMA, that's what it was, because I was still working. Yeah. I wasn't doing it full time. Do you know what I mean? I was still competing, but working at the same time. But I had that mindset, same as you. Yeah. Get a house, get this, because you've got a job. But now, thankfully, something that we have passion for, we can actually pursue as careers as well now, and earn a living from it. But now, linked with that and linked with the educational system, shall I say, because there are people like yourselves and Troy and your partner and everyone like that are doing so well, but you've had to learn it by yourselves. I know that sounds stupid. You've had to kind of like, not learn on the go, but it almost is you're learning on the go. But I think it's really important, because I personally feel like the next generation out there and the younger generation out there, they need, and they've got like inspirational figures like you guys, that you guys can obviously lead by example, but like I'm trying to do it myself, try and get into schools and teach in the way that, yes, okay, if you want to go down the educational route, there's nothing wrong with that. 100%,
education is great, like
100%. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And if you want to become a doctor, a nurse, a solicitor, whatever it may be, and you want to go down that route, or scientist, whatever it may be, 100%, you know, go for it, work hard. But then you got a handful of people, or more, shall I say, even more than, you know, a handful of people that don't want to go down that route and probably want to just go into working, or probably want to go into run their own businesses one day and something, but they're scared to because they've not been taught. They've been taught the wrong way. So could you see yourself one day doing that, going into the schools one day and giving talks like that or something?
Yeah, definitely.
And advice and stuff, or would you? Do you know what I mean? Would you reach out to that? And
yeah, I think definitely. I think especially because, like I said, my sort of journey hasn't been like I've just known what I'm doing. Like I said, it's been I've been the person that hasn't had a job. Like I've been a cleaner. I've done I went for a period of, because I had my full-time job, and I said I was unhappy before I was PTing, and I quit that job, and then I ended up just without work, and I was cleaning for a little bit. I was doing odd jobs for like of my mates that were working and whatnot. So you know, I've been in the 9 to 5 with no drive or ambition. I've been without work, doing whatever odd jobs I can. I've been in a good job but wanting to do something else, and then I've been in a position where I can do something else but scared to quit. And then I've been in a position where I'm working for myself but I'm not doing good. I'm doing 1 session a day, and I'm trying to get people in for sessions. And then I've eventually grown it. So in terms of helping other people, I feel like my journey is very relatable, because it's not just I did well at school and then I got to this, or I started a business and it boomed. Do you know what I mean? It's been like real relatable stuff. Yeah. So like, especially someone that doesn't know what they want to do and is just in a job or stuck. It's a lot of pressure, because I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do, and that in itself is a lot of pressure. And then seeing other people do well, and it's not even a case of you're not doing well, you haven't got any idea on what you want to pursue. So when it comes to like stuff like schools or any kind of stuff like that, 100%. We do workshops. That's what we did before lockdown. We do workshops at the gym, which is like, so we call it the workshop, but it's like an open gym day, training day. We'll get local businesses in to have little stands and do their own thing. We'll have like training, deadlift competition stuff, and then we'll get speakers down and stuff like that. We do that with Wahid Aesthetic as well. So that's sort of our sort of angle that we started doing that.
That's awesome, man. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, they've been really good to me. We had really good turnouts, real like motivational days. So yeah, I think the more stuff I can do on that side of things, I'd love to, because I feel like my journey can help a lot.
100%. And guys listening out there, and anyone listening out there, doesn't matter what age you're at, doesn't, you know, if you are struggling, if you're stuck, if you're not sure what sort of avenue you want to go down, or you're stuck in your day job and you're thinking, man, I want to do, you know, I want to pursue my passion, whatever it may be. Yeah. Just, and you're struggling and you haven't got that drive, just get in contact with us, guys. That's what we're here for. That's why we're doing these podcasts, is to reach out to you, people like yourselves, and try and move you in the right direction. So if there is anything, I'm sure Scott wouldn't mind you guys messaging, and vice versa with myself. Just drop us a message.
Sometimes all it takes is a conversation.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like literally that, because everyone has their doubts, everyone's scared of certain things, but like, I'm sure at some point you've been thinking, oh, I'm putting all this money into this gym and whatnot. And then you do get doubts, and it is scary. But sometimes just the conversation saying, look, you know what, actually I was in this place and I struggled as well, but I ended up doing this. Or if it doesn't work out, don't worry, there's whatever it may be. Sometimes that's all it takes. So yeah, 100%.
Definitely, man. Communication, guys, that's key. Just communicate. And if it's not with us, that's absolutely fine. Just communicate with the loved one, with someone around you, guys. It's really important. And like we were saying earlier on the podcast, like from Scott's point of view, he knew what he wanted to do. He knew the goals he had in place, and the way he was going, and he reached out, and he was thankful that he got people around him like Troy, like his partner, and he attracted all the right people around him to take him onto his journey. And look what he's achieved now, and he's not even halfway. No, you're not even at the halfway point yet. You just get just getting started, man. That's scary to see what you can do. But
it's good. Same again. Good, like, I've only just got to this point. Like, I'm 32 now. I'm old-ish, whatever. So
hey, I'm only just. We're not old.
I've only just got to the point where I am this focused and I am this driven. So same again. I think, especially with social media and just the world the way it is now, everyone thinks I'm 21. I should be doing X, Y, and Z and have everything in order. And I try, and it's not the case at all. So yeah, man.
Social media, man. I'll keep touching on it, but it's one of the most powerful things in the world at the moment, because people are comparing themselves to the social media platforms, if that and people on social media. And that's one thing I will say, guys. Use social media as to inspire you. Like
100%.
like I was again. I'm going to relate to Scott again. There's been times where on a Friday, for example, I wake up in the morning and be like, man, knackered. You know, your body's a saving from training. You've got work to do, and you put you you look at your phone or like whilst you have breakfast, and you see Scott's already done like 120,000 emails by the time it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. You're like, man, boom, I use that, and I'm like, well, if he's doing it, there's no excuse for why I can't do it. Does that make sense? So guys, use it as a inspirational tool rather than thinking, oh man, such and such is wearing this, I've got to do that, and I've got to take a picture of it and put it on. It's not about that, guys. You as an individual, are you as an individual, and you go out and achieve what you need to go and achieve, and that's what these guys are doing. They're going out there, they're working their fucking asses off.
I mean, that's the thing as well. You know, I feel like it is hard work, like, and it's nothing against anyone, but I feel like with our generation, with social media, with all the little things we've been talking about, I think the hard work part people sort of forget about, and not forget to do, but it's like, all right, I'm gonna start an Instagram page, I'm gonna start a clothing line, and it's just gonna work. You know, it's not. I feel like if we can blend where we're at now and all the opportunities we have now with the work ethic of our parents and that sort of generation, then we're onto a winner. So definitely. I feel like that's something.
I know it sounds silly. It comes to bodybuilding, and it comes to all the others, like everything you've done. Like people will see you on stage and they think, oh wow, Scott's got into great shape. Boom, I need to message Scott and I'll be like, I want to get into the same shape as you. But they won't see it's taking you 6 months of prep.
Yeah, exactly.
Another art in itself with the posing. Do you get what I mean? Getting everything organized. The mood swings, do you get what I mean? All of that, which unfortunately people don't see. Like I was talking about weight cutting for fights a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking about like I'm so blessed to have my partner Raj like by my side, because when I was weight cutting, it's horrible. I was horrible. You have mood swings, doesn't it? And you've been there, and it's not the nicest of things, but people don't see that. They'll only see
the glamour, the knockout,
the
belt, everything.
That's it. They'll see all of that, but they won't see anything behind that. And social media is the same thing. They'll see that picture, but they won't see the story behind the picture. 100%. And I think the story, for me personally, I find the story more inspiring to see. Definitely. The pictures are great, and that's the goal, that's the achievement. But the story behind it is like so much more bigger, and I think it's great, man.
We say it to our clients all the time, especially with our transformation clients. We have sort of situations where someone will see someone else's results and then think they're not doing too well and whatnot because some of the transformations are amazing, and physically another person may not have made as much progress. But we have it quite often where, you know, clients are comparing themselves, and I always say, even with, you know, with that sort of aspect, but then like you said, with social media in general, you got to use it for motivation, for inspiration, but you can never compare yourself to anyone else, because you don't know the ins and outs of that picture or video. You don't know what's happening behind it. That person that looks, you know, like they're having the time of their life, it could be completely miserable. You don't know any of that. Course. So I feel like with social media, and don't get me wrong, it's hard to do because we're just bombarded with everything all day of what we should be doing and what we should be wearing. But if you try and just change our mindset to just be motivated by it, oh, he's got that car sick, maybe one day I can get that, I'm going to work harder for it, or he's wearing that car sick. Do you know what I mean? If you use it for motivation and to be inspired by it rather than comparing ourselves, and then
100%,
then I think that's how
I think that's that. Yeah, I completely agree, man. Comparisons is a sin in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? I think
and it's hard not to, though, isn't it? It's in your face.
Like we touched upon earlier, we're in that digital era. So it's unfortunately, it is literally in our faces all the time. So you can't help it. But honestly, guys and girls listening out there, just rather than focusing on comparison, just focus on achieving, man. And I think that's such a massive thing, and that's what I absolutely admire about like the stuff that you're doing right now, because you've got that time management with you as well, and that mindset with you where you balance everything out now, and it's so good to see, because you're doing great on the sports side of things in sense of your own personal goals, because like you touched upon earlier, you want to go out and achieve and get that first place this year.
This year.
Is it going to be? Is it later this year?
So I'm competing in September. So that's the qualifiers, 19th of September. So it's about 24 weeks away. So I'm working towards that now.
But I was about to say the competition's in September. Have you started? Is it started already?
No. So I'll start my contest. It's I've never stopped. So I've been doing off season. So you have your off season where we try and improve your physique, put size on. So I've been in my off season since May last year. So I'll start prepping May this year. So we'll have done a year off season, and then we'll probably do about 16 weeks of contest prep dieting for that show. That's the qualifier, and then the finals is 3 to 4 weeks after that. So it's
what if you don't mind me asking, what goes into all of that? I know obviously when you say you prep your food and all of that, but in terms of training for it, what are you talking training wise? Because I know I watched you last year or so, and you were saying you had to get X amount of steps in a day or something.
Yeah.
And that's insane.
Yeah. So contest prep wise,
it feels harder than fight training, in my opinion.
You know what? It's always because some people ask me, because obviously I've done both.
Yeah.
It's like they're both hard in their own right, but bodybuilding is more mental because you by yourself. You know, it's not the case like so for training for that 16 weeks. Yeah, I'm training but I'm probably training an hour and a half a day in terms of weights, and then an hour to 2 hours cardio a day, but that's throughout the whole process. So right at the start, I'll probably only be doing half an hour, 40 minutes cardio, maybe, and then an hour and a half training. Right. So it's that 2 hours a day. But outside of that, it's my diet. It's my diet 24/7. Every gram of food is weighed. I can't go here, I can't do there, I can't. And then the deeper you get into prep, you physically haven't got the energy to do certain things. But then you've got to balance work and everything as well. So it's hard. I feel it's harder on the mental side of things because the work is 24 hours.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas fight training, physically, it's the most demanding thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Physically is the best shape I've ever been in. You know, doing Shark Tanks or wrestling and everyone's lined up on the wall. That's like physically, and I always say that's the fittest and best shape I've ever been in my life. So it's just a different level, but they both require the same things.
Of course.
So I think that's why I've been able to do well in both. Fair. But yeah, the contest prep hard, but like I said, it's more mental, but same again, because of everyone I've got around me. Like my missus helps me with a lot of my food.
I see you guys cooking all the time.
Yeah, so like now at the moment I'm on my off season to put on muscle, but I'm eating like 6,000 calories a day, which that's probably the hardest part of all of it. Like, it's a struggle, but the lads will make sure that I'm on it. Get home, missus will be like, have you eaten? If not, she's prepping food or whatever. She knows my diet's stuck on our vision board, so she knows what I'm having. So it's hard work, but it's part of it, isn't it?
Part and parcel of it.
Yeah.
So you're saying you train an hour and a half in
the hour and a half a day.
That's pure. And again, excuse my ignorance with bodybuilding, but is a training evolved? And what I mean by that is because I remember this is before I was ever like competing in MMA and training in MMA, but I remember like to get big, you had to purely focus on working on your chest for X amount of hours a day, doing X amount, and then shoulders. Has the training evolved? Is it still very similar to that?
It has evolved. There's lots of different training methods now. As with everything, you know, there's loads of ways around things.
Like again, relating to MMA, like there's a big discussion because now a lot of UFC fighters are not sparring.
Yeah, they stopped sparring.
You know what I mean? They stopped sparring. So like for us, but when we were training, like
that's what it was all about.
It's all about Shark Tanking. So in space of 10 years, that's evolved. So, that's what I was asking about.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely less hardcore. No, not less hardcore because it is still just as intense, but there's just more ways to do it. There's a lot. It's more of a scientific approach now. So there's lots of different ways to go about your training split and your muscle groups you should be training. And it's better because everyone's not. Well, we can do the same exact training program, same movements and whatnot, but we're going to respond differently. So there is loads of different methods, but it still comes down to the same thing. It's your intensity in training. It's the quality of your training. So it has evolved in that sense. And there's a lot more information, there's a lot more science behind it. So So where we're just going in the gym every day and beating yourself, like back in the day, that's what we go in the gym, train 2-3 hours until you can't, and then come back tomorrow and do the same. It's a lot more methodical now, and we know exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it, and so on and so forth.
And in terms of your steps, are you doing that in the morning? Or is that duration?
So what you do is like a step count is like throughout the whole day. So aim to get 12 to 15 steps throughout the day, and that's more just for your general activity. Obviously, we're burning calories all day, so general activity level to help with digestion. So you want to that's just to keep you active. So you're always consciously you're active, you're burning calories. But then I'll do set cardio, which may be on the Stairmaster, cross trainer, whatever, and I'll probably start at 30 minutes a day. And then depending on where our physique is at, it may build up. So like previously I've been up to 2 hours cardio a day, do an hour in the morning, work, do my day, train an hour and a half, work on the evening, do an hour cardio. But I've a lot more prepared now. I'm in better shape, so I'm hoping I won't have to do as much cardio this time around.
That's
We'll
awesome
see.
to hear, man. That's awesome to hear. And just to touch upon, like you mentioned there with your partner, and she makes sure she's on it with you, which is great, and it's so inspiring to see. And you touched upon, if you don't mind me bringing it up, your vision board. And I think I love hearing vision boards. I know some people say, oh, that's corny, that's cheesy.
No, not at all, man.
Vision board, and I think it's so important. And this is what I was touching upon earlier about mindsets, guys. Because if you've got something that you really want to achieve, and you like, goals are set differently, right? And you have your big goals, which could take you, say, in calculation figures, it might take you 5 years to get to 10 years, like your big goals, and then you have to get your segments in place and then dissect it back, and then have your weekly goals, your daily goals, etc. And it's so good to see that, like, and hear the fact that you're working off this vision board. Those of you that don't have a vision board, honestly, highly recommend to do it, and I think it's great. And I'm guessing you learned that from The Secret, or
no? So I actually shout out to my friend Tiny. Tiny's one of my good friends. He's really into everything we're speaking about now, and he's always had a vision board for years. Awesome. He reads a lot. He's very aware of everything. So he's the one that got me into it. So like you said, we've got one at home now, and we'll have 6-month goals. So we'll have our weekly to-do list and things we want to do. We'll have 6-month goals, and then we've got 5-year plus goals, and then the top of the board is literally where we just stick pictures and stuff that we might be of Erster dogs or things that we want and stuff like that. So I think, like I said, it's good to visualize stuff as well, but I always say, and I say to my clients and people that asked about it as well, it's right in my kitchen. So every morning, even if you're not concentrating on it, I'll get up and I stick the kettle on in the morning, I make my breakfast, and it says, read a book this week. It says, read 10 more pages, or do you know what I mean? So you're seeing these things, and the more you see things subconsciously and consciously, that you're gonna, lean more towards it. So I think definitely, but I think the good thing is
it's such a powerful tool. It's such a powerful thing, isn't it? Because like there's certain things I had in mind, and mine was I know it's quite selfish, which the goals are obviously, but mine was related to BJJ, and same thing as you. I had it in the background. Mine's in like my bedroom, so like when I'm there and I'm seeing it, I'm like, well, I keep seeing it every morning, every night. I'm constantly seeing it, and I achieved it, and I was like, well, I've not achieved everything, but one of the specific goals I had on there, I got, and I was like, and it's so powerful, and there's many other examples of that, but
I think, like you said, it's not even so much what the thing is and how you got to it, just the fact that you've wrote something down, you wanted something, and you completed it. Just building that, so I feel like it's a certain part when you build that up, and it gives you that confidence. So now you know what, I'll set this goal. It's not if or maybe I'm gonna be able to do it because I've done it. These things are all ticked off. So like on my board now, there's 3 or 4 ticked off, and I know I'm capable of doing them. So it builds that sort of within yourself, the power to think, well, I'm gonna go out there and get done what I need to get to it. So 100% agree with you there.
No, I think it's great. I love hearing stuff like that. I find it inspiring.
I've never actually read The Secret either.
Serious? That's what I thought. That's what I thought you got it from. I was like,
and you know what? I'm bad for. One of my things is I always want to read more books, and I bought 2 books, and they're both sitting on my side. I bought a book before, and the lads were laughing at me because I'm not going to read it, and I still haven't read it, but that I'm working on.
I was never one for a reader, and then I don't even know what year. Like probably I started reading it. I think it's it was a couple of fights ago. I remember like one of the like guys I was training with, he said, look, read this before you go into fight, you feel like on another level. So I was suffering a bit of anxiety, and I was doubting myself. And it's a Tony Robbins book, Awaken the Giant Within. So I remember reading that, and I was thinking, what has he got me reading? Do you know what I mean? I started reading it, and I got more and more into it, and I went into that fight another level. I went into I remember walking out, and remember we were touching upon like a couple of times we walked out and you feel dead emotional. That fight, I was emotional, but when I got announced in, I felt like I was on a different planet. Does that make sense? And I'm not saying just because I read that book that's how I felt, but I'm just saying the power of books.
It's your mind, isn't it? Eventually, you're training your mind. So when you're giving yourself a different level of perception and understanding of yourself. So when you go in them situations,
definitely,
you're thinking at a higher frequency.
100%, definitely. I couldn't agree more with that. But like I said, I wouldn't have thought of myself as a reader. And I'm not saying I'm a reader now, guys. But I try and make an effort.
That's all you can do.
Of reading as much as I can. So I try and read about 15 minutes a day. With the schedule we've got, and I try and stick out to that, and if not that, audiobooks, or more importantly, podcasts, dropping with Pindi Body. There's a little sales pitch right there. But no, that's just kind of like our routine that I've got myself stuck into now. So it's pretty cool, man. But Scott, any
I know you're talking about obviously your competition, which is in September.
Yeah.
We've touched upon your business ventures and everything you're doing in regards to your online, your gym side of things, and your kennels now. Is there anything we can see and looking forward to in the future? Is there anything that you've got set with later this year, next year? Is there anything that's set?
To be honest,
allowed to talk about yet or not?
There's nothing I can talk about at the moment, but
Sure.
We've made a conscious decision to put all of our energy into everything we've got going on, because as I was saying earlier, we got into a habit of, and because of how we both are, myself and Troy, we are very much now, if you were to start this and give us an opportunity, we'd be like, all right, cool. How can we do it? When have we got the time? We haven't got the time, but we make the time, and which is great. I think that's why we work well.
Amazing work ethic.
But we had to consciously make a decision to not do anything new for while we just got other things going on.
And focus on what you.
So yeah, and especially with obviously lockdown, and our competing took a bit of a backstage before lockdown, to be honest, just due to obviously our business and whatnot. So at the moment, the priority is just making sure we continue building everything else, keeping the quality as high as possible. Obviously, we've got the kennels, we're investing in stuff and whatnot as well. Awesome. So yeah, nothing new, but like I said, we're always one to take up opportunities. So.
Brilliant.
Pretty sure I'll see us doing something new.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Always inspiring to see as well. And you got your comp on September 19th, you're saying? You're going to win that. You're going to get the title on that, 100%.
That's the plan, hopefully. I got second in the qualifier last year, before, and then I got second in the British. But it was a really sick lineup. Like, you talk about having sort of doubts and whatnot. Not that I doubted myself, but it was the first time being in that level of competition. Yeah. So, that's definitely given me the confidence. Just, I know I can go up with the big boys now. So, this year, we're gonna go for it.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to you getting that title around you.
Appreciate it, man.
And I say, Scott, I know you've got thousands of followers, but where people listening and they don't follow you, where can they follow you on social media? Can you let them know?
Instagram is main social media, Scott_Swench, or you can follow us at Swench_online_coaching. But like I said, I'm very active on there. I reply to all my DMs eventually. So anyone that does want to pop up about anything today and whatnot, or just in general, Instagram's the one.
Wicked. There you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that podcast, ladies and gents. I could have been here for hours talking about mindset and Scott's frame of mind with everything he's been achieving and future goals he's got he's set himself. But Scott, thank you once again for taking
thanks for having me.
Time out at your busy schedule, which I truly appreciate as always.
Likewise.
I'm looking forward to obviously the listeners hearing this out and getting inspired by your stories and how you started off to where you are now. Guys, like I said, please follow him on social media because you will see such a massive achievements throughout on a daily basis. There's so much you do on a daily basis.
And just to drop in more important, I think the one thing you'll see is all achievements of our clients. Like our I know it's not just about fitness, but our ethos is real people, real results. And you look through our coaching page and whatnot. It's one of our biggest achievements. All of our clients are your normal people. Everyone listening now, there's someone that we've worked with that is in the same position as them or that looks like them. Yeah. So it's not just my achievements and whatnot. You see constant progression and achievements of everyday people, and I feel like that in itself, regardless of whether it's to do with fitness or what, that's empowering in itself to see people do well.
Exactly.
So come check it out.
Awesome. Well, thank you once again, Scott. I really appreciate
your time, bro. Appreciate it.
Respect, man.